Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. Today I thought we would talk about and make some lovely ephemera that I tend to use in my journals. I also package them up and sell them in my Etsy shop. So I've got a variety of things on my desk today. Importantly, I've got my Taschen Bibliotheca Universalis Garden of Eden notebook that's out. This, actually it's not a notebook, what am I saying? This is something that was gifted to me by one of my previous neighbours. His name is Ray, and he was born the wrong century, I think. He's very much a painter and an artist, slightly conservative, obsessed with history, and just generally a nice guy, very quirky, and him and I, bizarrely, hit it off really well. So yeah, so Ray, in his travels, found a copy of the Garden of Eden book by Taschen, and knew immediately that it would be something that I would use. So what I've actually used a lot of these images for in the past is to pull jelly prints. The paper is very smooth and beautiful, as you can see. The images are amazing. You've got images dating back to the 1700s that's been reproduced very beautifully by Taschen. My dream one day is to have a library filled with Taschen books. I know of somebody who told me in the past that somebody did actually go into the Taschen bookshop and ordered one of these. One of everything, basically, and really that is a dream. I mean, just how could you not fall in love with these things? So yeah, so I'm going to be cutting up some of these things. In fact, I think I'm going to tear up that immediately, and I know it drives people crazy, but really these are very easy to come by. They're not that expensive. They're the price of a standard novel or hardback. So you can, what I do is, if I really like something a lot, I tend to go ahead and buy 2 copies, one to rip up and one to keep. Naturally this is an issue because limited space. So yeah, so definitely the Taschen Garden of Eden. I have a few others, including Human Anatomy, which is, you know, terrifying, but very, very interesting and actually very popular. So yeah, so definitely keep a lookout for that. Then in my Christmas tin that I actually got last year, I specifically got it to hold some of my ephemera. I've got so many bits of paper. I've got vintage sewing pattern paper in here. It's just one of the packs that I had ripped up and started using. I've got some Jane Davenport faces in here. This is actually from the 1940s. It's a book that I picked up from the local vintage market the other week. I already started ripping up some of the images to play with, but there were a lot of pages that was just text. But I mean, just the color, the smell, ugh, can't get over it. What is this? Oh, random bits of doily, always fun to play with. Vintage bits, no, I'm lying, these aren't vintage bits. They were probably started off as vintage bits, but these are actually from Tim Holtz. I recently went to Blade Rubber Stamps and picked up one of the ephemera packs from there. I've got so much stuff in here, including Russian English dictionary pages, various bits of tissue paper that came to me in Happy Mail, whale stickers, bits of things that I've cut out of magazines, more magazine stuff, more magazine stuff, more magazine stuff. All these things are so much fun to play with if you know, just decide to do something with them. I've been trying to actually make some ephemera clusters, but I can't get the hang of it. It's annoying me that I can't. I don't know why. I think it's a mental block thing. Sometimes we are just so, you know, in a headspace of, I can't do this, and so you can't. But you can. All you have to do is try. And no, I'm not going to be Yoda. I refuse to be Yoda. And of course, I've got a lot of the Tom Holtz paper dolls in here. So yeah, lots of cute bits of ephemera. See, this is from Art from the Heart. It's one of the Tom Holtz ephemera packs. It's the Halloween one. Still completely sealed up and not even opened yet. So yeah, lots of fun things to play with in there. So yeah, so today basically what we're going to be doing is crafting. We are going to be making a lot of these decorated seed packets. If you follow Wendy, you will see that I've actually sent her quite a few of the plain packets. These I actually got quite a bit of, and I'll be very happy to share them on my Etsy shop if there is interest. I bought a bundle. I'll probably have about 200 or 300 of them. So I'm happy to list some of the plain ones. If you want to play with them yourself, feel free to comment or message me. So yeah, here we go. Glue wise, because the paper is quite shiny, I think you can see it there. What I tend to use is, my new love is the Prima Planner glue pen. They are actually really surprisingly handy, in the sense that they glue things down very well. And then I also just have a standard glue pen, which of course, even though I've put it out, has now managed to disappear itself entirely off my desk. So much for planning, Liz. Well done. Ah, found it. Just a standard Pritt glue pen. What I've also decided to use, and what I use on a lot of these, actually is also washi tape. I have got a lot. I'm currently getting rid of a lot via my D-Stash Instagram that I had in the shop, but because people started quibbling about actual postage, because these things are bulky, they think that, you know, it's only one small item, but in fact it might not weigh much, but because of the bulk it's really difficult to ship. So I was struggling with that, and it just started to annoy me, so I've taken them out of the shop entirely, and now I'm just getting rid of them as fast as possible, purely so I can make space for other things. So I do have some of my favorite washi here. These are the name brand ones. These are, the majority of them are Krisiki. We've got some Liang Feng in here. The majority of these tapes come from Cute Things from Japan, Cafe Analog, and when I was lucky enough to go to Kuala Lumpur recently to visit my friend Chantal when she was living there, we went to quite a few places like Stickerific, and I bought a lot of tapes. I probably spent, apart from the monies that I spent on behalf of other people who asked me to bring things back for them, I probably ended up spending about £300 just on stationery. It was pretty intense. I ended up having to borrow one of Chantal's bags to bring everything home. But you know what? No regrets. No regrets. Anyway, so let's play. This is very nerve-making for me because I've not really played with on camera before, which is, you know, some people like Tracy Fox makes it look so easy, Gail makes it look so easy, Wendy makes it look so easy. I am terrified out of my mind, but today I actually have a voice, so, and I'm not coughing. The lighting could be better, but you know, you can't have everything. So I just wanted to show you, actually, I'm not decorating the front of the envelope purely because it's going to be pasted down, so you can have access to the actual backside, so that you can put your bits of ephemera, receipts, whatever in there. Now, what I tend to do is I don't really have much of a plan. I wing it, basically the same way that I write. I'm not much of a planner, I'm a pantser. So what I tend to do is just glue things down and hope for the best. What I like about the Prima Planner glue pens, I'll link to the shop where I get mine from. It's a little Etsy shop here in the UK, but I suspect that if you're in the States or even, you know, in the rest of Europe, you'll be able to easily come by these, because they're really good, and they were basically made for, you know, use in journals and things. So they're not the world's stickiest, but they are sticky enough. Oh, and I would like to point out my brand new glass mat, which arrived last week. Needless to say, I'm over the moon. It's one from Tonic Studios. I've not got the cash to buy the Tim Holtz ones, even though I'm a big Tim Holtz fan. But yeah, spending almost 50 quid on a glass mat, whereas this one was probably about £16. So yeah, big difference. This is some of the Russian dictionary pages. I mean, the patina on this, the smell of them, the feel of them, it's amazing. I have absolutely no idea how old they are. I think they are literally old. So it makes it just lends your, whatever it is you're going to be making, you know, quite a bit of attitude. Yeah, let's have a look. What else can we you'll notice that I'm not bothering to ink the edges on these, because they already have quite good ink happening there. I will never forget the first time I started watching YouTube videos and seeing people ripping up and tearing into, you know, vintage papers and things like that. Oh my days, it completely it freaked me out so much, because, you know, growing up in South Africa, books and things are very precious. It is not really something that you rip up, even the old books. I'm using just some distressed ink tea dye on this little one, because I do think it needs a little bit of vintaging. I hope everyone is doing well. I'm really grateful that I've on the back of Wendy and on the back of my little Instagram, you know, that I've had so many subscriptions. I'm grateful beyond anything you can even remotely imagine. It makes me feel, you know, very much like I've arrived. So let's add that there for some color. What I'm actually liking, today is the first outing for the craft mat, and what I really like about it is the fact that I'll be able to just go ahead and clean it right up, because it's glass, and so there's not going to be any faff, whereas with my the self-healing mats, as much as I love them, I've gone through so many of them because they just utterly get destroyed so very quickly if you're cutting and pasting and gluing things, especially what I was doing over Christmas. It was craziness. I was doing so much crafting stuff for the various craft markets that I decided to sign up for. So yeah, that was not a good time for my craft mats. Now see this, there we go, we've got the base of this down, and I'm just going to put this aside and let it, you know, bind to the paper a little bit, and then I'll come through and I'll do some more colouring and things on the side, and maybe just add an extra splash of colour. Oh, I keep forgetting to close this, and then of course it just goes gooey and gross. Let's see. So I have to say that now that I've started doing videos on YouTube, it's been feeling really quite nice. It's very strange, you know, sitting here and it literally feels like I'm talking to myself, and also doing it at a volume that I am hoping my neighbours won't actually hear, or if they do hear, they don't think I'm going crazy. So yeah, but I know a lot of other people on YouTube mention it as well. It's definitely something that you have to get used to doing. Is, you know, talking to yourself. But I suppose as a creative, it's something that we just tend to do. These are they are cake rounds that I picked up from one of the big homeware stores here in the UK called Lakeland, and basically it's to line your baking tin. But of course we are crafters, so we just use it because it looks pretty and it crinkles, and these color up really nicely. I think that, I don't think this is what's termed as deli paper. I'm not entirely sure, because the deli paper that I have is not the same at all. Come on, Liz. What I also have actually is a little folder that I've been putting some of my ephemera on. As I need them, what I do is I start actually fussy cutting them, and I just make them live in here, and it's just really handy. Just take some of these out. And some of these. Now see, when I said that these have been fussy cut, I obviously lied. I think it's the ones that are at the front. Yes, it's the ones that are at the front that have been fussy cut. So let me take those out and put these over here. Thank heavens we don't have carpeted floors, because trying to... Little Robin, perfect, that suits him very well over there. Let's see if I can find anything else to fit in at the top there. You know what I have found? It's really difficult tracking down paper doilies these days. They used to be everywhere. I remember you couldn't even move down, you know, an aisle in the supermarket without stumbling into doilies. These days you have to, I don't know the secret handshake. Hi, I'm back. It turns out that the camera has a recording issue. I think I fixed it. So yeah, let's get back to it. The parts that you missed, thankfully, I don't know, thankfully, was just me talking to you about how I got into journaling and into crafting. Not many of you would know that I'm a published writer. I write books for teenagers. Currently I'm working on an adult novel for my publisher. To be honest, when I say that, they have first refusal. But about 2 years ago, as I was finishing the last book in my trilogy, I became really ill, because everything had happened at such a fast pace, and they required me to finish the trilogy at a very fast rate. I burnt out and suffered. I don't know if it really was depression. I never spoke with my GP about it, but it was definitely exhaustion and a mental block. I couldn't sit down and write a novel, it felt like, ever again. And it's, you know, if you're a creative person, when you wake up in the morning and you just don't, it's just not in you anymore, it's incredibly scary. So as somebody who's always loved stationery and who loved journals and things like that, I previously bought myself a traveler's notebook, but I'd not really used it, so I ended up pulling it out and got so immersed in this world of journaling that I felt completely revamped and renewed. On the back of discovering journaling, I discovered art journaling. I discovered mixed media. People just literally splashing colors around on their journal page and then journaling over it. I naturally discovered washi tape, and I've not looked back. I would think that without journaling, without discovering YouTube and all the creators on there, and without discovering things like, I don't know, people like Wendy, people like Tracy, people like Tim Holtz, I don't know where I would have ended up. Probably not in a very good place. So for me, journaling and making things is more than just, I don't know, passing time. To me, it's almost a mindfulness act. And I'm really grateful to everyone on YouTube who do share what they create, along with, you know, like the positive outcomes and the negative outcomes, because it's good to know that not everything works out 100% all the time. I feel that this might need a postage stamp. And I have a lot of those. I know a lot of people on here are actually quite fond of postage stamps, so if any of you want any, just give me a shout. My dad used to collect stamps, and I would sit for hours and hours going through. Ah, here we go, that's pretty. Oh. I would sit for hours and hours with him, just cataloguing and adding things in. And I think he would be very slightly, I don't know, bemused by me using stamps, making collages for things to go in a notebook. But you know what? I'd rather use it for that than have all these things go to waste. So it's not going to be super long videos this time around, unlike last time. So I just wanted to say, again, thank you to everyone who subscribed. Thank you again to everyone who has commented, everyone who's visited the shop, everyone who's bought anything from me. I am more grateful than you can possibly imagine. Like I've said before, it is a true honor. And thank you very much for visiting with me. And I hope to see you guys again next week. Thank you.